Welcome back to the webcast. It's week 9 of the Premier League season. We are done with the international break until the new year. Let's go. Back to the webcast, All Sports One Web. We are previewing week 9 of the Premier League season. We got the pick master Jacob here with us. The international break was great. We talked about USA, Ghana, how excited we are for the US for the big tournaments coming up in the future, but a lot of crazy games as well. Italy find themselves third place in the European Championship group stage right now. Will they be able to get out as defending European champions? All of the other games in across the world were going on, but isn't it great to get back to the Premier League?
Yeah, to be honest, everyone always talks down on the international break. They hate it, and I understand that. Premier League's what we want to watch. It's the more important games. It's not so fun to watch a friendly. I don't know. I always enjoy the international break. I'm still buzzing off the USA performance against Ghana. But it's always good to get Premier League back. So I'm excited for the weekend.
Yes, it is. It begins tomorrow. So let's dive into our picks. And you can't get a better start to the day. Not only are there 8 games on Saturday, a full slate to get us back into Premier League action, but you kick it off with the Merseyside derby here. Liverpool at home taking on Everton. Last time we saw Liverpool come out, 2-2 draw against Brighton. Nunez gets his first start in a couple weeks. Trent Alexander-Arnold comes back into the starting lineup for the first time in 5 weeks. They get a lot of weird goals that last weekend. This was definitely one of them. Steele for Brighton, the goalkeeper, it gets removed after that 6-1 loss to Aston Villa. You get Verbruggen coming in. There's a mix-up there. There's a mix-up with McAllister and VVD. 2 goals, 1 for Brighton, 1 for Liverpool in that game. But Liverpool getting back to winning ways. Nunez seems to always be scoring some goals as well. So it'll be interesting to see if he gets the start again in this Merseyside derby. Everton winning 2 of their last 4, picking it up a little bit. They gave Luton's first win, and then they got their first win. So they're starting to get it going. Got their first win.
Dyche is a little bit more comfortable with some points under his belt. Yeah.
Oh yeah, well he's very comfortable. 6 in a row against Bournemouth, a 3-0 win, added that 6th victory in a row for him. This time as Everton manager instead of Burnley manager. Can they go, across the way there and get a win at Anfield?
Anfield, always tough to play at, especially for this Everton squad. The friendly derby coming up this weekend. I'm so excited for it. But Everton's only won 1 of their last 28 meetings at home and away. The last time they won in Anfield was in 2021. They got a 2-0 win. But before that, you have to go all the way back to 1999. Stevie G was playing. He got a red card in that game, 1 of 2 Liverpool red cards. So, yeah, they haven't done well at Anfield. I know they're on a little run here. I'm happy for them. It's good to see a big club like them start to perform again. But I think Liverpool's just in recent history just been dominating this matchup the last 2 decades. Even though this derby's been historically close, has been all Liverpool, and this season seems to be more of the same.
Yeah, I can't see anything but a Liverpool win there at home. I'm so excited to finally see that front 3 again of Diaz on the left, Nunez up top, and Salah on the right. Nunez with an assist, Salah with 2 goals. Diaz drew a penalty. I mean, all 3 involved last time out. I can't see anything but a Liverpool win in that one. This next one, Burnley looking to build something to move forward after their terrible start of the season. So many goals coming in against them. Thomas Frank and Brentford also looking to kind of pick up some of the form that they had last year, both sitting on only 1 win so far this season. Not necessarily a must win, but between 2 teams kind of right above that relegation zone at the moment, right in around it. You almost need to get one of these wins. Burnley traveling to Brentford. Can they get it done?
Man, I feel so bad for Company. I feel like I say this every week. But I think Thomas Frank is on more of a hot seat than Company. I think Company still got the backing of the club, of the management. Yeah, Brentford really need to win this game, and it's at home. I think they will feel that they have a good chance against a not so good Burnley squad. I'm going Brentford for this one, I think.
Yeah, I agree. 20 goals against for Burnley is just a recipe for disaster, especially when you go on the road. You're going to most likely concede, and it's going to get out of hand rather quickly, especially Brentford. Last time out, if you remember, Scott McTominay coming on as the super sub
to get United like they should have gotten at least a point in that.
Yeah, exactly. Bournemouth definitely looking to bounce back after that terrible defeat away to Everton. They take on Wolves, who just cannot seem to play a full 90 minutes. They can play good for moments. We've seen it throughout the season with very good spurts. They are having trouble scoring goals as well. Only 9 goals so far in 8 games. Can they travel to Bournemouth and get a win?
So what a great couple of weeks for Wolves. If you told them they were going to have 4 points out of a possible 6 against Manchester City and Aston Villa, you would say they take it, and they would have expected to beat Aston Villa and tied City probably, but the reverse happened. I'm really happy for Wolves. This is the Gary O'Neill revenge game.
Yeah.
It's going to be an interesting matchup for that reason. I think, like you said, though, they can't find 90 minutes. I think that's because they just don't have the squad depth. You know, Huang and Neto on the outside are electric. Cunha's had a great season so far, despite I don't think he's a proper number 9, but he's had a good season. I think the lack of squad depth is going to start to really show in some of their games now, getting like actually in the middle of the season. I think Bournemouth pull up their first win at home.
Yeah, I'm tempted to go draw on this one because I like Gary O'Neill so much. We've mentioned it here on the podcast before. I think I agree with you with Cunha. I mean, that game, one of the best performances still in my mind of the season so far by an individual was Cunha bossing it at Old Trafford in the opening week. I mean, him on the ball, little glimpses of, dare I say, Pogba out there, where he could hold the ball and run with it. With just the strength,
how he can carry it just box to box,
and just and flies on the across there. Huang, I want to see him up top more. It seemed like when Raul Jimenez was there, he was always kind of just that secondary striker to kind of add a little bit of a different dimension than Raul Jimenez. Now that Raul Jimenez is at Fulham, I was hoping to see him start more and more. It seems like he is starting to get a little bit more of a rhythm. It seems like anytime he is used as a sub, he gets a chance, gets a goal. I hope he gets the start again this last week. They tied Aston Villa last time out. And so I think that they could get things going. It's just, can they score enough goals? I don't see them scoring 2 goals. I don't see Bournemouth not scoring as well. So I would go with a 1-1 draw here, but both teams just
I'll buy that. I'll
have confidence. Okay. 5 goals for Bournemouth on the season.
Honestly, I could see that game going any which way, to be honest.
Yeah. This game, I have more of a leniency. I am a big fan of the City Ground. I was a bigger fan of Dean Henderson with the cap last year. I'm so sad that I can't say that anymore. But Nottingham Forest at home, I got to roll them over Luton Town. Yeah. Despite Luton Town getting their first win a couple weeks ago, I think those are going to be very far and few in between. And so now we are in the in-between part, which is a loss to Nottingham Forest.
Yeah, Luton Town, another team just struggling for goals. They just can't see. They've been fighting, and they've been kind of fun to watch. I feel like they haven't gotten completely dominated in any game. Like, there's been no Sheffield United type losses. Sorry,
Sheffield.
But Nottingham Forest much better at home than they are away. I think they'll be happy to play a much easier team than Crystal Palace. Going to London was tough for them the last time out.
Yeah, let's roll. I agree with Forrest in that one. Battle between the best possession-based team in all of Europe, maybe even all the world, and then Manchester City hosting at this time. Who do you got in this possession-based game tomorrow?
Yeah, this is a really tough matchup. This is, I'm biased here, but this is the most exciting game of the weekend for me. I know we've got a few good ones, but I'm most excited to watch this one. Manchester City Brighton's always a good match. Rodri finally back from his long, seems like forever 3-game suspension. City lost all 3 domestic games without him. Luckily, one of them was just in the EFL Cup. But losing to Wolves and then Arsenal, we desperately needed our main guy back. I was hoping that Matheus Nunes could kind of fill the role when Rodri was out. He wasn't able to do that. He's still warming into the squad. I don't blame him, but man, am I happy for Rodri to come back. And City obviously losing 2 games for the first time since I think 2018, 2 Premier League games in a row. They'll be desperate for this win. And I'm sure Pep was hoping that it wasn't going to be a team like Brighton because Brighton looks so good. I think I have to pick City. They don't get in a spot where they're desperate to win, but they kind of are desperate to win. And I think the experience will pull through for them, and they'll pull this one off at the end.
Yeah, I can't. I mean, we saw the great last time these two teams met. What a great game that was, back and forth. Love to see it. I'm hoping for that again, but I think this game will have a completely different feel to it, and that's kind of based on exactly what you just mentioned, which is City rarely put themselves in a position where they feel like their back is against the wall. And in this case, not necessarily that it is, but it's just kind of a let me put my stamp back on this. Rodri comes back, international break. Obviously, those players went off to go play, but I think they're going to come back. None of them got injured. The Brighton side, Lamptey is out. Mitoma came back from illness. He should be good to go, but we'll see how that goes. I just think Manchester City are going to clamp down on this. Brighton letting up a decent amount of goals, 6-1 to Avila a couple of weeks ago, 2 goals to Marseille, 2 goals last week to Liverpool. Their goalie situation is kind of fluctuating, 4 starts for each of the 2 keepers over the start of the Premier League season after getting rid of Sanchez, obviously. So I just think this is going to be a very professional, robust defensive performance from City, and they're going to get that 1 or 2 goals that they need and kind of put this away. But I'm predicting a very professional performance, but a City win at home. A team that just doesn't lose at home to anybody not named Liverpool. They take on Crystal Palace. Any chance for Palace to do what PSG couldn't, and that is win at St. James's Park?
Yeah, Newcastle's still buzzing after that huge Champions League win against PSG. I don't think so. Crystal Palace has started the season very well, despite not scoring very many goals. They've really sat back and defended very, very well and countered. That's always been their game plan. I think Eze, I said this a couple weeks ago, but Eze is their new number 10, and he's kind of filling in that Zaha role to really spark the offense when they need to get something going. You saw him missing last week at last match against Forest. They just couldn't get anything going offensively. They need that number 10. Eze's still injured. We don't know when he's going to come back. It's a tough spot for Palace. I think without him, again, they struggle for goals, and Newcastle is just too good right now. I don't see them losing at home.
Yeah, I mean, they got the assist leader in Trippier coming down the right-hand side, taking the corner kicks. Hopefully Isak is healthy after his international duty didn't go as well as everyone would have hoped. I think he pulled out early, or there's a concern after it. I'm not sure the timetable there, but hopefully he'll get to start. Either way, I still would like Newcastle in that one. But now we get to the actual big game of the weekend. Not that Merseyside derby, not possession-based football, but what color is London under the lights? Let me just take over this one. We don't even need Jacob anymore on this one. Come on, Chelsea. Come on, Chelsea. Come on, Chelsea. A lot of injuries. The most injured club right now, I must say. You add on the international break, was it, usually supposed to be a helper for teams. You look at Saka, he was pulled out early in international, coming back because of his injury going in to the international break. He got to practice and get healed up. We're hoping the same for Reece James. We'll see. It's going to be close, a game time decision. I doubt that he will be able to go. On the other hand, Chalobah is injured. Badiashile comes back early, is injured. Broha, who started the last game, got a goal, injured over international duty. Saliba, for the other hand, gets taken out early international duty and then gets to train and gets healthy for Arsenal. Martinelli will come back as well. So a lot of health versus a lot of not health, a lot of points versus not a lot of points. It's a very rags to riches game here. David versus Goliath at Stamford Bridge. The back four I'm expecting to be, we'll see if Colwill what he'll do with it, but I'm expecting him to partner Silva as really the two only healthy center backs right now. Gusto comes back after his red card, so he will be on the right-hand side. Cucurella will then move to the left-hand side to take on Saka. We'll see. Mudryk got his goal for Ukraine, whether or not he's going to be playing that left wing back that we saw earlier in the season, or if he's going to be pushing up and kind of help pin Arsenal back is what I would love to see. That pace of Mudryk getting in behind. Sterling had his best game I have ever seen as a Chelsea player last time out. 4-goal performance for Chelsea against Burnley, but still. And hopefully he can keep that going on the right-hand side. But who's going to play up the middle with Broha hurt, Nicholas Jackson hurt, Nkunku still hurt? I have no idea. Cole Palmer might get into the fold. It'll be very interesting to see what Pochettino ends up doing. It's a very big conundrum. It seems like he's just solid on his Gallagher, Caicedo, Enzo 3 in the middle, and the two center backs, Colwill and Thiago Silva. So I'm really interested to see how all of that will go. Chelsea, one of the best defensive performers in the league, surprisingly. Our lack of goals, but also our defense has been pretty strong. We are now decimated completely in the back line, though. 4 starting left back, right back, center back pairing. I mean, if anyone goes down in this game, I don't even know what we're going to do. And so for that reason, I think I'm going to have to lean draw. But that's just because we're injured.
I want to say draw. I'm really happy for Chelsea. Last two, I predicted them to go on a little run, and they did. I think they were wishing that they could continue that against a lesser opponent. It's tough that they're playing Arsenal this weekend after, and with the timing of the injuries, it's like Chelsea's losing their players and Arsenal's getting their players back. It's just Saka is going to be huge. He was desperately missing. I know they won the game against Manchester City. That was a huge win for them, but they just didn't really get anything going down the right side. They'll be happy to get Saka back, of course. Martinelli looked great in that City game. This is going to be a tough game. I'm excited to watch the London derby. If you say draw, I'll ride draw, but this is going to be a tough one for Chelsea.
Yeah, well, now that we're back to the non-Chelsea fan background, I will say, okay, Desai, if he can play, because he's not fully ruled out yet, and then we can kind of maybe go with maybe that, still a back four, but maybe even a back five if you want to. Colwill, Silva, Desai, Cucurella, if you want to put him actually on that left-hand side with Colwill in as that left-sided of a back three, and then put Silva, Desai, and then Gusto on the right. I would actually prefer to see that. I think you need to do that. I don't think we can leave Saka one-on-one with Cucurella in a back four, especially, and I don't want to see Mudryk pushed all the way back, because then we're never going to score. We're going to be one-sided, and that's just going to leave Sterling with no help at all. So it's interesting. In that case, if he can put that out, I think we can go draw. If he's going to go with kind of the formations that he has been going with, where we're going to really be playing that back four and maybe drop in Mudryk on the left-hand side, especially if Cucurella gets pushed over there with Gusto getting back into the lineup, Reece James still hurt, Chilwell obviously out for a long period of time, then I have to go with an Arsenal win. I have no other option. One of the two undefeated teams left in the league, and much as it pains me to say it, I can't. You can't look at these two teams and tell me Arsenal shouldn't win this game. You can't look at these two teams in form and tell me that Arsenal shouldn't win this game. You can't look at even the performances at Stamford Bridge over the recent years and tell me that Arsenal shouldn't win this game. Everything points to an Arsenal win. But that's when they bottle it. So let's go draw. Come on, Jose. Come on, Jose.
That was a big back and forth. That was a tough one to call.
Speaking about blowing it, Manchester United find themselves fourth place in the group in the Champions League. They always wanted to be top four. They finally are, just in the Champions League. They have dropped out of that. Now in the league, they take on Sheffield United, who just concede goals just off the start. Who do you got?
Yeah. So United, obviously not such a good start to the season. They losing Casemiro from the international break is going to be a huge loss for them. I don't think Casemiro's had a particularly good year, but he's still quality. He's 5-time Champions League winner. They're going to miss him hugely. Luckily, they're playing Sheffield United. Sheffield United, worst goal differential at -16 after only 8 matches is insanely poor.
That's what happens when you lose by 8, you know?
Yeah, their defending is just dreadful, and I think even with them at home, I think United will be happy to be playing them. Obviously, Scott McTominay will still be buzzing after that brace and stoppage time against Brentford. Even as a City fan, I smiled watching that, because that's just what football's about. That was amazing to see. What a win. But yeah, I think United win this pretty easily. Sheffield's just not so good right now.
Yeah, I think Rashford is going to feast in this. We saw Howland get a goal in international duty as well to kind of continue his decent form, despite United not necessarily playing well over the last couple of games. Howland has come in and actually looked like a good number 9. He can do the business, as well as Rashford down the right-hand side. Good partnership there, and I think that's going to continue. I like United in that one. Villa like to go up against West Ham, haven't lost since 2021. Some interesting performances for Villa over the last couple of weeks. The great win over Brighton, 6 goals there. Can they repeat that kind of performance against West Ham?
And this is a great game too. We got some really good matches this weekend. I think this might be the most competitive game of the weekend. Aston Villa and West Ham feel like, to me, like they're both battling for those Europa League spots right now. Maybe even the 5th place, with the 5th spot for Champions League. They could say that they're fighting for that. West Ham's look great with Paquetá, Ward-Prowse. I think Aston Villa might have the best coach in the Premier League, though. Unai Emery knows exactly what he's doing with the squad.
Don't tell Arsenal fans.
Oh, no, I don't think Arteta's in the top 3, to be honest, but that's a discussion for another time. I think Aston Villa at home, I'm going to have to pick them. If we were in London for this game, I probably would go West Ham. I think, like I said, this is the most competitive game of the weekend, and I'm going Aston Villa.
Yeah, I'm super excited about this one as well. What a great set of fixtures to come back from the international break. But I think, they did tie Wolves last time out. I think they're going to be looking to get back on it. Bailey is one of my favorite players. He's linked with Chelsea a couple years ago, ends up going to Villa, kind of a slow start, but he's getting back into the fold. And so I like to see Villa with a win there against West Ham. And that leaves us just Tottenham and Fulham. Tottenham, the other unbeaten team with Arsenal so far in the Premier League. That great couple of results over the last couple of weeks. Now they get a London derby with Fulham at home. Can they continue Ange ball at top of the Premier League?
Yeah, so the Clint Dempsey derby. Tottenham trying to stay at the top of the table. Fulham will be happy they got to play Sheffield, the bottom of the table, last match. Now they have to go on the exact opposite side of the table and play Tottenham. Much different team. I think if Son, again, can just stay healthy, I think Tottenham's going to win. He's been carrying that knock. We talk about it every week. He's been carrying that knock. He still seems to be playing really well, though. It doesn't seem to be bothering him. Postecoglou's been great for Son. Absolute revival. Yeah, I'm picking Tottenham at home for this one.
Yeah, I can't see anything but a Tottenham win as well. And that will do it for our Week 9 preview and predictions for the Premier League. So glad that it is back. Enjoy all of the games tomorrow. 8 games on the slate in the Premier League to combine with the great college football games on the ALCS, NLCS going on, the new start to the hockey season. It is a full weekend of sports. I remember this time last year, I watched everything from 8 a.m. to about 2 p.m. Eastern Standard Time, just back to back to back. It was one of the best sporting days I can remember. Drama everywhere across the entire landscape. So please go ahead and enjoy it. Thanks for joining us, Jacob and I, here at the webcast, All Sports One Web. Until next time, we will see you later.